Have you ever wondered how wine was made?
Well, this video is for you about the details of alcohol fermentation.
What is alcohol fermentation, you might ask? Well, it's the anaerobic pathway that is carried out by yeast in which sugars are converted into ethanol and carbon dioxide.
Alcohol fermentation has two mechanisms. The first mechanism is glycolysis. Glycolysis is the process where a single glucose molecule is transformed into two pyruvate molecules. The two pyruvate molecules then produce two ATP and two NADH molecules. The second mechanism is NADH regeneration. The NADH molecule produced from glycolysis gives its electrons to acetaldehyde, which then regenerates NAD plus and ethanol.
Step 1 of alcohol fermentation is during glycolysis, the yeast breaks down the glucose molecule into two pyruvate molecules, two ATP molecules, and two CO2 molecules on top of two NADH molecules.
Step 2 of alcohol fermentation uses anaerobic conditions. The pyruvate molecule is split into CO2 and acetaldehyde by pyruvate decarboxylase.
The final step in alcohol fermentation, the acetaldehyde is then transformed by alcohol dehydrogenase and produces ethanol along with NAD+, which is derived from NADH.
Alcohol fermentation has numerous real-world applications, such as the process of making wine. The first step of wine fermentation is that the yeast breaks down the natural sugars in the grapes, such as fructose and glucose, into CO2 and alcohol.
The grape juice is first placed into a sealed barrel or container where the yeast consumes the dissolved oxygen and then starts producing alcohol by fermentative metabolism. The juice can stay in these tanks for around 2 weeks until the process is complete.
The next step in wine fermentation is that the fermented grapes are then pressed into a machine which extracts the juice from the grapes. The different wine presses are basket presses, a bladder press, a membrane press, a moving head press, and a continuous press.
The next step is the aging process, where the pressed fermented juice is then placed into oak barrels, where it undergoes many different chemical reactions, which, depending on the type of juice used or aging time, can drastically affect the flavor or taste of the wine.
The final step in wine fermentation is the bottling. The wine is then transferred into a pressurized tank, which is then filtered and bottled.